welcome to another episode of Pet Pals. We're excited, as always, to bring you the latest adoptable animals from Frederick County Animal Control. I'm Bethany Davidson, the humane educator, and animal wrangling for us, and quite a little bit of a task this morning with Jameson, is our volunteer coordinator, Sean Snyder. So we do have a lot more cats on the adoption floor recently than we have in the past. Still not a ton of young kittens. Those guys are coming in, but they are, again, too young to be available for adoption yet. They're still in foster homes, waiting to get to that 10 to 12 week age range. But if you're looking for, some adult cats, we have quite a few to choose from, and Jameson is one of those. He's about 5 years old, and he is a very affectionate guy, but he's also very busy and very curious, as you can see, trying to kind of get down and explore. He is a very confident cat, which is great. He is a cat that likes to try to find ways to sneak out when he's on the cat floor. He's like, I don't want to be contained. I need to go adventuring. I need to go exploring. But he is a cat that definitely loves all the pets and scratches, and is a fun guy. Also perfectly content to kind of hang out by himself. He did previously live with another cat, Xavier, who is on our adoption floor as well. Unfortunately, his owner had some housing issues, so both cats were brought to us so that we could rehome them. Xavier wouldn't necessarily enjoy the outing to the education room for Pet Pals today, so he's hanging back there. He is the shyer of the two. These guys do not have to be adopted together, but if you were looking for two cats and you liked these guys, they could be adopted together as they have previously lived together in the past.
So his profile says that he has a few behavior cues. What are they?
So before we kind of jump into what he knows, people often think that, you can train dogs, but you can't train cats. You can train any animal, really. Learning theory is the same. We have done clicker training here with cats before, and I'm not sure how his owner did this with him, but she said he knows sit, he knows down, he knows out, he knows to come when he's called, he knows his name. I've definitely done this with other cats. It can be a fun way to kind of engage with your cat and also keep them busy and their mind mentally stimulated, especially if you have a really active cat. Or because, Jameson would probably qualify for that active cat scenario. Or if you have a really shy cat like his brother Xavier, who needs a little bit of confidence boosting, they start to learn, if I come out and hang out with these people, then I kind of get some treats, and I like treats. The big difference with these guys when you're training cats as opposed to dogs is the length of time that you can really do it because of their attention spans. When you're training a dog, you can usually go 15 to 30-minute sessions. With cats, it's more like 7 to 10, and they really need some high-value treats. You get some dogs, especially here, that'll just like, oh, a piece of kibble, awesome. Cats are like, no, I need churu, I need baby food, I need all the good stuff. But if he seems to have that foundation. So if that's something that you're interested in, then maybe Jameson would be a good fit for your household. If you're interested in making Jameson or any of our adoptable cats part of your family, the first step to kind of going about that process is simply making a visitation appointment. You can do that by going to visit fcac.as.me. The first dog guest that we have today is actually one of the smallest dogs that we have available. She's under 30 pounds. This is Penelope, and she is our pug mix. She definitely likes to do all of the snorting and things that are accustomed to the pugs. She is a very sweet little girl. She's only about a year old, so I'm sure that we'll get tons of interest in her because of her size and her age. We don't typically get a lot of smaller dogs, so if you're seeing her and you're interested, you may want to give us a call before rushing in because she may already be gone. People just can't get enough of these smaller dogs. She is a dog that's done very well on her behavior assessment. As Sean was walking her through, he said, she didn't react to any of the dogs in the kennel. She was quiet. She walks pretty nicely on her leash. She does seem to know sit, doesn't mind anything, dealing with her food. She's very friendly with strangers. When I first met her yesterday, she was like ready to give me kisses and super excited to see me. So she definitely has a lot of really, really great qualities. Even when it comes down to, handling her feet and mouth. She resists a little bit, but nothing too terrible. I will say she did not like getting her vaccinations and blood draws. in typical pug fashion, she was like, no, let me scream really loudly and let you know that I don't like this. But she recovered very quickly, and is definitely a dog that's going to be suitable for every type of household. In fact, we don't have any restrictions on, the type of owner or the type of children that can live in a home. So if you're a first time, looking to be a first time dog owner, Penelope might be a great option for you.
So she has a quality a lot of adopters look for. What is that?
Well, especially people who are looking for small dogs, in addition to just their size, they want that little cuddly lap dog. And Penelope is more than happy to crawl into a lap. She wants to be in your space and lick your face and cuddle up with you. The staff reported that on her behavior assessment. So, if you're looking for that cuddly little lap dog, then Penelope might be exactly what you're looking for. But again, she's probably going to go very quickly. So if you want to give us a call and make sure she's still available before booking your appointment or sending in that application, you can give us a call at 301-600-1735. If you just want to take a look at, Penelope and or all of the various adoptable animals we have, you can make an appointment. To do that by going to visit fcac.as.me. Our next guest is another one of our younger dogs, but quite a bit larger, with the potential to get even larger than Penelope. This is Flora. She's about 8 months old. We have her down as a shepherd mix, and she has a beautiful kind of red brindle color. She's a super nice dog, but she's changed a lot in her stay. When she first got here, she was really stressed out and shut down and very fearful and nervous. And that could be just how she is in kind of a new environment, or it could be just how she is in this environment, because it's so much more stressful than a typical home environment. But it took her about 10 days to kind of really settle in and show herself to be kind of her normal wiggly puppy self. So, if you're interested in making Flora part of your family, you might want to just keep in the back of your mind that it may take her a little bit longer. She may not be the way that you see her here at the shelter after she's gotten comfortable when you first bring her home. She has an adjustment period, a decompression period, but then she's like full-on adolescent dog. She's just like, boom, I am super fun and super energetic, and I don't really have any manners yet, but I'm very willing to learn them. She picked up really quickly with things like sit and stuff like that, but she is a dog that you will need to be training. Just because she's a little bit older doesn't mean that she knows everything. So she's still working on house training and all of those good manners things. She is particularly mouthy, still learning what she can and can't put those little teethers on. So working with her on that is going to be really important. And that's one of the reasons we have recommended her for no small children. We don't want her to be mouthy and accidentally bite a kid or knock them over. But also she can be a little bit nervous at first, and we don't want, young children who have quick movements and don't really know body language and might be prone to being a little bit louder to startle her and things like that. So, that's something to work on. People always ask, well, what does no small children mean? Typically, we say around 6 here. 6 and under is what we would consider smaller children, but obviously that is dependent on your kids and what kind of animal experience they have as well.
So on her paperwork, it says she'd do better with a job. What's that mean?
So as you can see, she's a very active dog, and shepherds in general tend to be dogs that are bred for working. They need an activity to kind of keep them mentally and physically stimulated and active. A happy dog is a tired dog, and giving her a job and something to do, keep her busy, is going to really help with that. Now you might say, well, I'm just adopting her as a pet. She's not going to have a job. Well, you can use other activities like agility and scent work and all of these other things that give her that outlet that she needs to thrive and really be well behaved. So those are things to think about too. Yes, she is a beautiful dog. She's very sweet and playful and friendly, but does her energy kind of match your lifestyle? So those are all really important things that you want to take into consideration when choosing your next pet. If you think that your lifestyle matches the energy level of Miss Flora here and you want to meet her, you're going to need to go to visit fcac.as.me to book that appointment. Our next guest has been on the show quite a few times. This is Evan. It's no secret that he is my favorite dog, which is why he's making an appearance today. He was adopted for a couple of weeks in return, so cumulatively he's been with us over a year now. So he is definitely a dog that is pretty resilient because he's done fairly well in the shelter environment, but he is a super fun dog. He is now officially 6 to 7 years old instead of 5 to 6 years old. So he's a little bit older. He has a cute super gray muzzle. His favorite things include belly rubs, treats, stuffy toys, sniffing things, and eating grass. He has a variety of hobbies. He loves training. He thinks that training is super fun, and he understands that that's a game and that he can win treats, and he really enjoys that interaction. A lot of people think that an older dog is going to be a couch potato, and while Evan does enjoy kind of cuddling up next to you, he likes being tucked in at night with a little blanket. Obviously he loves his belly rubs, but he is an active guy who wants to be able to, run around and shake his toys and do all of those things. So making sure that you're not just assuming that because he's got a little gray on his face that he's just going to lay around all day, because that is definitely not this guy. But because he is an older dog, he does have some typical older dog things, like his vision is not as good as it used to be. So we have determined that Evan does have some decreased night vision as well as some decreased peripheral vision. So it's going to be really important to make sure that Evan can see you. You want to, when you approach him, making sure that he kind of sees that you're there, not pulling him from the side or approaching him that way so that you can startle him. Nobody wants to be startled, and he definitely does not enjoy that. He does recover pretty nicely, but nobody wants to feel that way. But once he knows you, your level of ability to kind of touch him and things like that, even if he doesn't necessarily know that you're right there, does go up. So it's about his level of comfort with you and safety.
So you've been working with Evan on some new behaviors. What are they?
That's right. He's always had a good sit. He knows touch. He's great at catching treats. He does find it and search. But we've been working a lot on down lately, which he knows very well. But we've also been working on his mat. So he has a mat. A lot of people will say it's also like a place cue, just for when he gets startled, or if there's going to be a lot of things going on that might startle him, to give him a safe place to go to. So he has a little rug that we put down, and if I tell him to go to his mat, he excitedly goes to his mat, because he knows if he lays down on that mat, he gets a treat. He loves a treat. So that's something that an adopter could use to kind of, if you're having guests come over or you think he's going to be a little uneasy about something, to kind of get him to his mat. That's his little safe zone. So we've been working on that for quite a bit, and he's doing really well. Because of his vision issues, we are looking for an adult home for Evan. Also, he thinks that small furry creatures are toys, much like a stuffy that he would like to shake around. So we are looking for a home with no small animals. And honestly, he prefers to be the only dog in your household. So if you meet all of those things and you think that Evan's going to be a fun guy, that's going to definitely add a lot of excitement and love to your household, you can go to visitfcac.as.me to book that appointment to meet with him. So we talked about having some younger dogs on the show and on the adoption floor, but Ghost is the youngest of all of them. He's about 4 months old, and he is our Weimaraner mix. We say everything's a mix. I know on Facebook some people are saying, oh, he looks purebred. If we don't have information saying that they are, we're going to say they're a mix. So he is a young dog. A lot of the staff are saying he doesn't know that he's a Weimaraner, much like Bunny, our Akita, did not know she was an Akita. So we're hoping to keep it that way. But, if you're not familiar with breeds, it's really important to make sure that you're researching, the types of dogs that you're going to be bringing into your household, because different dogs have different different requirements for their exercise and their mental stimulation and just their general socialization. Some are trained better than others and things like that. So you want to really make sure that you're looking into, what kind of dog you're getting, not just seeing him as like this adorably cute little puppy. Right now he weighs about 35 pounds, but again, he's only 4 months old, so he is likely going to be a very large dog. We've had some people lately looking at the weights and they're like, oh, well, this will fit in my apartment. Got to look at those ages, because a lot of these guys are still gonna be growing. The kennel staff say that he is, your typical puppy. He's still working on house training. He does do a little bit of submissive urination sometimes. He's still working on, socialization. So sometimes loud noises, things like that startle him because he just doesn't know that it's okay yet. So just letting him know that things like the car and noises and thunder and, all of that stuff is something that's going to be positive and not anything that he needs to worry about. But all in all, he's been a fairly happy-go-lucky guy. He's pretty quiet in his kennel too. He's, you walk by, he's super calm and relaxed and just playing with his toys and hanging out. But he is not going to be a dog that's just going to be super turnkey because he's a puppy. So he's relying on his owners to teach him all of those good basic manners and to set boundaries and things like that with him.
So as you mentioned, before someone adopts a dog, it's good to do some breed research. What do people need to know about Weimaraners?
So they are a highly energetic dog. So again, like we talked about with Flora, making sure that the dog's energy level matches your lifestyle. And Weimaraners are also a dog that would typically do better with some sort of a job. So even if you're not using them as a working dog, giving them some sort of activity like agility or fly ball, or, there's a whole host of kind of doggy athletics out there. So testing those things out. A lot of people worry about, basic good manners training like sit and, leave it and all of that stuff. But there's advanced training that can keep their mind really stimulated. You can even get dogs who kind of read, for lack of a better term. They learn that, if you write sit on a board, they start to recognize that visual means to sit. So you can do lots of different stuff with them, but you want to make sure that you're prepared for that. They're super intelligent and fun-loving, but they're also very, active and highly energetic. So just making sure that you know what you're getting into so that we don't see Ghost back here, as an 8-month-old dog that doesn't have manners and is mouthy and things like that. If you are interested in making this guy part of your family, just as we've been saying, the first step is always going to be to go to our booking site and make that appointment, and that's going to be visit fcac.as.me. Our final guest for you today is the largest dog that we have available for adoption. You might not think it, but pound for pound, he is definitely the largest that we have. He weighs in at 94.2 pounds of shepherd mixed dog there. He is also one of our older dogs at 6 to 7 years old. So we have quite a few dogs that fall into that kind of 6 to 7, 5 to 6 age range. With Evan, this guy, also Angel, and a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want an older dog. But the thing about older dogs is that they make great first dogs. Or if you're looking for something that's a little bit more low key, especially, thinking about like this guy and Angel just kind of hanging out, not as big of a deal. And it's important to remember that just because they're a little bit older doesn't mean that they don't have a ton of life or love left to give. Older dogs are often overlooked in shelter environments. So we want to make sure that people are also taking these guys into consideration when they're thinking about their new pets. Sirius did come to us as a stray, and we did our behavior assessment on him. And aside from not walking very well on a leash, he kind of does the typical, I'm a big dog and I'm going to pull you around. He did really well. He's super friendly. He doesn't really care about the other dogs, not really reacting to them very much. He's easy to get leashed up. He just, wants to pull you around because, he thinks he's big and in charge when he's walking. But those are all things that you could work on with a little bit of training. He willingly gives up his toys, and he does love affection. And, I was taking his picture yesterday and, we were doing some find it and search, toss and treats. And he really enjoyed the ability to kind of go around and sniff. And the people who were doing his assessment said that he really enjoys exploring. So, he's a dog that probably does want to go out on a hike with you and things like that, because he wants to be able to sniff and walk around and check things out.
So senior pets can sometimes have medical issues. Does Sirius have any that people need to know about?
So, something that may or may not be a long-term thing is that he did come in with a pretty bad ear infection. So we're treating him for that. So some dogs can kind of have a chronic ear infection thing. So you just want to make sure you're monitoring that with your vet. But much like Evan, he does have a little bit of issue with his vision. Different issue, but still doesn't necessarily see excuse you, burping on television, buddy, doesn't necessarily have that 20/20 vision. He has some cataracts that are developing and things like that. So, just being aware that he might not be able to see as clearly, making sure that you're positioning yourself in a way that he can see you come in and approach you come in. Sometimes with dogs that have a visual impairment or a decreased vision, when you're giving them a treat, they don't always know exactly where the treat is. So sometimes they don't take it very nicely. So you can do things like holding it in an open hand and letting him kind of lick it up, or dropping it on the ground, because he does like to sniff those things out. So there's always some kind of alternatives. But just, in general with older animals, they might need a little bit more veterinary care than some of our younger residents. If you think that Sirius is exactly what you you've been searching for and you want to meet him, you need to go to visitfcac.as.me. If you haven't seen any animals that you're wanting to make part of your family, that's okay. We have plenty others that haven't been on the show today. You can use that same website to book your appointment to see what else we have available. And you can always check out our Facebook page where we have photos of all of our adoptable pets. We hope you enjoyed meeting these guys, and we hope that you'll tune in for our next episode.